Welcome to the channel. My name's Andrew, nascent writer from Brisbane, and this is the channel talking about books and writing and probably not much in between. And yeah, this is the channel where no expense is spent. And here we go. Today, a little something different. I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of my TBR list, or to be read, as the kids used to say. So I've got a bit of an eclectic collection that I'm going to go through, and yeah, you probably go, what the whatever. But so recently there was the Amazon had its Amazon Prime Day, you know, in remembrance of those who were lost, Optimus Prime. So let's take a minute to respect the fallen. Yeah, so anyway, I took it as an opportunity to pick up some books and went a little bit differently. So I'm going down more the research route because I have a few ideas for my writing. So the first one here is Europe in the High Middle Ages. So a lot of fantasy books are sort of set in this sort of time period, and it would be good to have a better understanding of what's going on. I have a rudimentary knowledge, historical knowledge of this time period, but you know, to make stories more authentic and more lived, I guess you can say you're better off doing a bit of research. So, you know, if I spend, you know, a week or two reading this, absorbing the information, in the long run, yeah, it'd be better, you know. So, yeah, hopefully I got like 20, 30 or 40 odd years of writing ahead of me. So to spend a month researching is invaluable. So that's the first one. Secondly, which is I probably need, look, I've explained it plenty of times. I speak one language, I can barely do that. So I got this little cheat sheet book, you know, English grammar. So 100 tragically common mistakes and how to correct them. So just little things to help with my editing. I've noticed actually going through the editing process now with a high fantasy novella. A couple of things, when you read it out loud, you're like, what the, who broke into my house and wrote this? Like, no, it wasn't me. So if I catch the son of a bitch. Anyway, so that's that one. So English grammar, 100 tragically common mistakes. Yeah. Now, this was, couldn't go past this one, Vikings. I think it was like $5. Like a lot of these ones I've got for $5 as opposed to like 40. So couldn't go past those deals. So yeah, can't go past, you know, the Vikings. You know, that sort of time period before the High Middle Ages, around where it blows over. More to get more of a cultural understanding, how societies, like different societies function, and hopefully be able to incorporate that in my writing in the future, to give it more realistic, more field-lived world. So yeah, so that's it. The Vikings by Magnus Magnusson. So if you do the etymology on that last name, see what happens. Alright, this is where it's going to get a little bit weird. Not weird, but just very niche within a niche. So yeah, science education in the early Roman Empire. So once again, it's more to help making cultures in a fantasy setting seem more realistic, in a sense that it doesn't feel paper thin. So like as an example, the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that book before, or that book series, but Stephen Erickson and Ian C. Esselmont are a you know, pair of archaeologists and anthropologists that, you know, just so happen to be fantastic writers that wrote a very brilliant series, and they use that knowledge to give the world really a lot more depth than your standard sort of fantasy world. So in that, I guess that's sort of inspired to just delve deep. It's not a massive book, but it'll help thicken things up, I guess, best way to say it. So And and the next one, which primarily got this one because I do have I have written a synopsis and I have an idea for like a specific fantasy, like a one-off, not like a series or anything, like a one-off story, and so it this will come in handy, like the failure of the Roman Republic. So sort of get that setting of the end of the Roman Republic and before an empire and things like that. So I'll probably be delving into this one and a few other revolutionary periods of history, like the in Russia with the Soviets and the Bolsheviks. That sort of historical events. So how societies crumble and those type of things take over. So, but that's so that's that one. So a bit of an eclectic mix, and then some little bedtime reading. Get the Wolverine Weapon X. So I'm growing up, I was a massive comic book fan. Been meaning to start another. Oh, look at that! That's iconic. Wouldn't mind starting another channel talking about all my comics, and that was like one of the when you're a kid, it's one of your first loves, on top of other books, because it's just awesome. So managed to get that pretty cheap. But I wouldn't mind talking about the comics in that story form or that format, and how stories are told through that genre. There are some really good, like very deep, I guess you could say, or not just surface level superhero stuff. They can be a vehicle for some great storytelling. So everyone's aware of the Watchmen, Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns, that sort of thing, where the stories are a bit more elevated, but the awesome art. I've tried teaching myself how to draw every now and then. It just I can only do so much of try and get really good at the writing, or just learn how to draw a stick figure. But anyway, and finally on the TBR, this was actually a gift of my brother. So Brandon Sanderson's Elantris. This was his first published book. I've read the Mistborn, and I've read the Stormlight Archive as it is currently. I think the first 5 books. So I haven't read this. Brandon Sanderson has a distinct style. I guess transparent prose, I think it's been described as. It's very easy to approach. It has wide appeal, which is why he's widely popular, like ridiculously so, in the #1 Kickstarter, I think, of all time, if that's still current. If not, just write a comment saying, "Hey Andrew, you did shit." Yeah, but anyway, so that one's just going to be on the side. So a lot of my time will be into doing a bit more research for writing, but that doesn't mean I won't be reviewing books every now and then. So I'm going to try and keep consistent with the videos if anyone's interested. If not, that's cool too. But let me know what you're reading at the moment, if there are any recommendations. But wait, there's more. I do have a audiobook TBR, or currently listening to. So at the moment, I'm listening to the book 4, 5. Maybe I should have researched before hitting play or hitting record on the video. But Dungeon Crawler Carl series. It's a lit RPG. I was not aware of it before, or the genre, until someone mentioned it to me and recommended it, saying this is the best lit RPG book getting around. And I was like, alright, the premise sounds a bit weird. The whole planet's a dungeon and the guy's got his ex-girlfriend's cat, and they've got to survive. And I was like, okay, I'll I got Audible, so I'll listen. I'll get, the next time I get a credit, I'll have a listen. And I kept listening, and I smashed that book, and then I smashed the second book, and then the third, and now I'm halfway through the fourth. So I highly recommend. I might do a whole video on the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I highly recommend it. The voice acting is brilliant. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's sharp, witty, perfectly written. The characters just pop, and the whole world is so unique, and it really draws you in. I know it's probably not for everyone, the style. It took me a little while to understand, sort of get the feel of, describing stat points and prizes and things, like basically a video game where you max out your stats and whatnot. So sometimes you like trying to understand, trying to keep up with all that sort of stuff. But if that's not for you, but the actual story around it, if you just skip over that sort of bit, or if you're not listening or driving, but the actual story and the action that's going on is actually really good. I highly recommend it. Anyway, so that's about all I have for the moment. So I don't have much else, but anyway, so I'll see you next time.